I've got your energy stories for the second week of March 2025. And for the first one, let's file it under the what did you think would happen? After the Trump administration slapped tariffs on imports from Canada, including a 10% levy on power, Ontario Premier Doug Ford said he would impose 25% tariffs on power flowing to Michigan, New York, and Minnesota. Ford also warned, quote, "I will not hesitate to increase this charge. If the United States escalates, I will not hesitate to shut the electricity off completely." Per Bloomberg, the tariff will come in at $10 Canadian or roughly U.S. $7 per megawatt hour. In 2023, New York imported 4.4% of its total juice from Canada, while Michigan and Minnesota imported about 0.5%. Tariff wars create enormous economic inefficiencies, and they raise prices for all affected parties. They can sometimes help stimulate domestic production, but often the eye for an eye approach just leaves us all blind, or at least visually impaired. The Bonneville Power Administration, BPA, announced a draft plan to join the Southwest Power Pool's Markets Plus real-time and day-ahead market instead of the competing Extended Day-Ahead market, EDAM, being launched by the California Independent System Operator. BPA said that although CAISO's EDAM may offer greater financial benefits, the SPP market more closely aligns with BPA with respect to issues related to governance. BPA objected to CAISO operating the system, as well as resource adequacy, carbon accounting, and other issues. Bonneville plans on a final decision in May. The result will be two overlapping and intertwined Western day-ahead power markets. BPA is no small player, with 22.4 gigawatts of energy coming from federal dams and thousands of miles of high-voltage lines over which it delivers power largely to municipal utilities, public power districts, and co-ops. While Kia is moving towards greater V2X capabilities, saying it was taking pre-orders for the Wallbox Quasar 2 home charger and accompanying hardware to accommodate bidirectional charging from its 76 kilowatt-hour EV9 electric SUV. The combined vehicle and charger system will enable both home backup power supply as well as vehicle-to-grid functionality. The charging equipment, including the Quasar 2 charger and a power recovery unit, grid disconnect switch, will sell for $6,440. Pre-order is limited to residents of California, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, Texas, and Washington, with a later nationwide expansion planned. Also in vehicle-to-grid, Nuvve was recently awarded a contract from the state of New Mexico for up to $400 million over the next 4 years to deliver a comprehensive turnkey electrification solution to support New Mexico's zero-emission vehicle adoption and renewable energy goals. The contract includes $150 million to support electrification of New Mexico's planned school bus fleet of 2,000 plus buses, as well as $250 million to support the electrification of New Mexico's 3,500 transit and state-owned vehicles. Among other aspects, the contract will support turnkey charging solutions, vehicle-to-grid and microgrid development of highway charging corridors, specification of state vehicle purchases, and creation of as many as 24 vehicle-to-grid hubs. Utah just passed legislation on a unanimous vote in both the House and the Senate to allow 1.2 kilowatt or smaller portable solar devices to be plugged directly into standard 120-volt wall sockets without requiring any interconnection requests to the utility. Solar assets must be compliant with the National Electrical Code and Underwriters Lab's certification standards. Now let's move to Texas. Modular nuclear reactor startup Last Energy announced plans to build 30 microreactors in Texas near the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is rapidly becoming ground zero for projected data centers in the state. Texas already hosts over 340 data centers, with more on the way from the likes of Google and OpenAI's Stargate. Numerous modular nuclear reactor companies have announced big plans to serve the data community, but until we see some real progress, such as Nuclear Regulatory Commission design approval and the construction of the factories that will make these machines, it's pretty much talk, with lots that could go wrong in the meantime. Then there are the issues related to siting, security of nuclear materials, and waste. If you think building transmission lines or wind farms brings out the NIMBYs, you can probably expect the opposition to go nuclear over these facilities, especially in some parts of the country that are more densely populated. And finally, Reuters reports that a lengthy period of low wind speeds in Texas combined with strong demand has resulted in record high output from fossil fleets thus far this year. As a result, some fossil generators may shorten or delay planned maintenance outage breaks this spring during the shoulder demand period. Grid operator ERCOT stated that approximately 17% of the approximate 85,000 megawatts of thermal capacity was scheduled for maintenance in March, but low wind turbine output, which is usually quite robust in the winter, is largely keeping this from happening. Affected by low wind speeds, February wind turbine output fell 18% below last year's levels, with wind energy representing 26% of ERCOT's generation last month versus a 36% share the previous year. This could represent a critical challenge coming into the warmer weather ahead. Well, that's all for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.